Welcome everybody to another East County Voices. I had to look over here at the top. Almost said the Carlos Dago. No, it's East County Voices.
It is.
I got a question. Could you hear the music, the intro?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I can't hear it no more.
I wonder.
We got new owners for the company that I used to go live on all these different platforms. And I don't know, it hasn't been the same since the new owners. So
there's some glitches. There's some glitches in the system.
Yeah, I like to hear the music. I'm like, it gets me ready, you know?
Yeah, anyway. I was over here gigging. I was gigging.
Right. Anyways, welcome everybody back to East County Voices. We're your hosts. Hostesses. Is it hostesses or hosts?
Hostesses.
Patty, Carlos, Mary's somewhere, and then we got guests somewhere, but they're not here, but they're somewhere else. But we do got bam.
Hello, we do have someone tonight with lots of amazing knowledge.
Yeah,
we have
my tie here.
He got a tie and everything.
I'm trying, man. I'm doing it.
That's
hopefully,
nice,
doing it well.
Adjusted in your screen here. There we go.
Welcome to the show, too. Thank you so much for joining us. This is my friend Carlos.
Hi, Carlos.
How you doing?
Doing great.
You look good, man. I wish I could wear a tie like that, but every time I wear a tie, people are like, "You got a court date?" I'm like, "No, man." No.
Like, I'm so sorry for your loss.
All right, so mission, get Carlos a tie.
Right.
Yeah, I got some nice ties though. I got like a Santana tie, right? You could do it up.
Man, see, I've seen his shoes, but I didn't know he had ties.
The present. Yeah, I'll find it. I'll show it.
Nice,
yeah, it's a nice tie. When I wear it, I was like, ooh. That's why I didn't know. I said, okay, I'll dress all formal.
But right on. Well, thank you for joining us.
Man.
Thank you.
To our audience out there, you know what we're doing. We are having community conversations because things are happening. There are so many amazing community leaders, advocates, teachers, organizations, elected officials that are doing great things in our community, and we want to talk about it. Formerly Carlos Taco Show, but we have transitioned to East County Voices. So
it's not about me.
It's
about people like you and this one.
Yes. Hi, Gavin. Welcome. Thank you for being here. We're just doing introductions. And just, a little bit about our show and how we have our community conversations, community updates. Gavin, welcome. Gavin is another one of our frequent hosts, co-hosts, and he is the president of the East County NAACP Youth. So I thought this would be great. Gavin, this is to Russ, and he is going to be our financial expert tonight and just talk finances, business, politics.
Well, thank you. And I want to share, I pronounce it Tua. No one will ever get it right, so you can call me whatever you like. But yeah, I call myself Tua. I think I mispronounced my name.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay.
That's what's up.
Thank you, Tua. We can start with community up. Should we do some short introductions? Carlos, lead it off. What you got going on for you? Yeah, your mic's on. You're good.
Introductions. I'm Carlos Aguilar. Everybody knows me out here as Carlos Tacos. I'm an advocate for the houseless community. I love feeding them, helping them out, the best we can. And it's with the help of the community, again, that we're, that I'm able to do it with my team, so I stay busy doing that. So
yes, he's also a grandpa, a papa, uncle, neighborhood chef. Yeah. Prayed up for the community. Yeah.
I wear many hats, but I don't have a tie.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's it. The whole is good. I'm just gonna be doing this.
Right.
And then so I'm a mom. Nice to see you all again. I'm a mom. I'm an advocate, combat veteran, feminist, private investigator, holding bullies and supremacists accountable. But mostly a community person, and I love people, and I love people that help people.
Right.
That's a little bit about me, and you want to go ahead, Kevin?
Sure. I'm Gavin Payton. I'm the person that advocates, agitate, and educate. I'm part of the NAACP, and we tackle the issues that need to be addressed that society that doesn't want us to address. And even the media doesn't want to address, but we're going to still address it because it affects our community on a day-to-day basis. People don't think that, but it is. And that's why it's so important to register to vote and to get it done, because 2025 is not an option.
Okay. And we're going to talk about this. We'll break it down, give us some updates. Thank you, Gavin. Love your power and the work that you do. Thanks for being here. And Tua, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Hi, everyone. Yes, Tua Rust. I'm a math professor at Los Venados College. Been there since 2007. I did a lot of work in social justice. If you take a math class at any community college in the country, you now are able to take statistics instead of remediating, which put largely our Black and Brown students so far below that there was 0% chance of success. And so we were literally taking money and with no chance of ever creating opportunity for an AA or whatnot. And so I helped with Myra Snell and the California Acceleration Project to get rid of all of that. So now you can just go into college, you take statistics, and you're done with math forever. So that was really huge. Felt really blessed to be part of that. But in doing so, I realized even with success in college, you still have that money barrier. And as Bill Hooks, rest in peace, would say, as difficult as it is to cross class, across cultural boundaries, it's impossible to cross class boundaries that she had trouble with, even in her later years. And so that's the great barrier, and that's what I'm doing. This is all about social justice and taking those shackles off that we call a boss and we call a job, and trying to figure out how we can truly live the lives we're meant to live.
Beautiful. Well, all right, we have a cool panel here tonight.
I found a tie.
You found
a
tie.
Wait, we match. We kind of match.
My friend brought me one right now.
There we go.
Shout out, John. Thank you, John.
Love it. Well, thank you for those awesome introductions. Where can we start? Let's start real quick with community updates. There was a school board meeting. You can watch it online. It was the first one of the year, and I learned a lot about the audits, pay the contracts within the school. There's a $2 million bond. There's 7 seats open for this oversight committee. So anybody out there in the community, we need 7 high speed or ready to learn parents to make sure that the funding gets spent in the appropriate spaces. And so, yeah, that's a big one. City council coming up. Let's see. Oh, we had the Police Oversight Commission meeting this past Monday.
How'd that go?
It went. We have a new chair, Miss Portia Taylor, I believe.
Okay.
A lot of community, a lot of voices, much needed. Again, we looked at finances and their budget report. So that was really important. so it's important for all of us in our community to have some kind of a little bit of financial literacy, and hopefully we can get some tips and classes available. And because this wasn't available for us in high school. I graduated class of 07. Did anybody get financial like literacy kind of classes in class? Go ahead, Gavin. Yeah.
No, it is not offered to African Americans or any dark-skinned group of people. It is overlooked and constantly overlooked. People say it happens and people say it's there, but it's not actually there, because when it's time to actually put into action, because if we're supposed to have this education when we get into college, and our professors are looking like, well, didn't you learn this in high school? No. But I will thank my mom, Dr. Peyton, because when she took me out of that system, she educated me and she put me in finance classes in my high school career, because I found out that students can pick their electives. It doesn't have to be forced upon them. And you could take your electives out of college, and it counts for both high school credits. It upgrades your GPA. That's how I graduated with a 4.0. And,
well done,
and
sir.
with a high scholar.
That's my nephew.
And it counts for college. For whatever field you want to go into, they'll take it and put in a credit for college. That's what they don't.
Okay.
Love it. Love it. That's great. What you did is, exactly what I was hoping everyone would do, which is to circumvent high school. Because what we don't realize is that 50 years ago, people needed to go through 12 years of school. Why? Because it took that amount of time to learn how to write an essay, to learn how to do basic math and all that. But we've gotten better as teachers. And so now we're able to get through 12 years of education in about 6 years, right? So 50 years ago, you graduated with algebra, right? You graduated barely knowing how to write maybe an essay or so. Whereas now in 6th grade, you're already studying algebra. 7th grade, you're already studying algebra. So then what do we do in high school? So we create courses. So from a math perspective, algebra 2, trigonometry, that's made up. That is not math at all. True math has no numbers in it. There's no adding, subtracting. There's no fractions, none of that. There's not even calculus in real math. All this is fake math, right? It's completely designed to fill the gap, right? Because it's like, what do we do with the youth?
Algebra?
Well, no, it's what do we do with non-adults, right? Because the government is responsible for these non-adults, right, until they become old enough. And so we're just filling it with stuff. And we fill it with more and more Eurocentric stuff in our social studies and our English. And we fill it with math that is unnecessary, science that's unnecessary. I think if we went to our biologist teachers, our physics teachers, they would agree. We could start teaching college level math, English, all of it in 7th grade. No problem.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I did some work in Contra Costa Community College with youth that were not going to graduate high school. It was the Gateway to College program with Carl Deborah. And we took these youth that were not in any way going to graduate high school. We put them in college level classes. And I gave them a college level experiential learning institute, where we gave them high level leadership. We had them do trans-level math, trans-level English, and they aced it, right? Because roses through the concrete. Anyone who has survived this long in this school to prison system is a genius, and just given the right opportunity, the right teaching, the right curriculum, and it'll just pop. So you're absolutely right. As soon as you get out of that high school mentality and go into the college mentality, you'll be successful. It's high school and that K through 12 system that we need to get rid of, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, times are definitely changing with the standards and education requirements. Definitely interesting.
But But that's a different topic. But yeah, no, I have a website that I made, and I give it away for free now, where I can take any 10 to 12-year-old and get them into calculus in 30 days.
Oh my God.
So it's all done. Curriculum's done. It's all set. I was trying to make a business out of it, but it just didn't work. So I'll give it away for free. But yeah, you can learn all the math you need to get into calculus. It's an hour-and-a-half lecture.
Can you send us the link so we could share it? Stats was the last math class that I took, and I was so happy that I was done. Gavin, you had your hand raised. You had a comment?
Yeah, I think a best way to also tackle this issue is think of your budget and apply it to real life. If we could incorporate our current math systems into the education system that applies to everyday life, like when you have to pay your light bill, your rent's due or mortgage is due, gas bill, electricity bill, water bill, maybe child support.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice if we could actually teach them how to budget these things, so that way when we go into the real life, we said, hey, I learned this in school.
Mm-hmm.
This will help me, rather than, okay, I'm going to the store and I'm expecting they're going to ask me what is the root of y to the power of 10 to get some eggs.
Exactly. I hear you. I feel you. And honestly, that's why I transitioned into what I'm doing now, because, as fun as it is to help people through, math and all, it doesn't, not only is it, I like statistics. I find it useful, but it's not extremely useful. It's not necessary for sure, as we say in math, and it's not even sufficient. But be it as it may, as hard as I try to get these students to pass the class and I prepare them for success in other classes, if it doesn't lead to upward mobility, doesn't lead to a higher income, doesn't lead to a better job, it doesn't matter. And the fact is there's just not a lot of opportunity. These days, how can you make the median salary in Silicon Valley is $220,000 a year. The average price in a good neighborhood in the South Bay is $3 million. $3 million for a 1972 bedroom, nothing. $3 million. You can't even get a loan for $3 million. So you have to have $1 to $2 million down payment just to get a home. I have a friend who makes $600,000 in Apple and he's renting, right? So what are you prepared? Where is your trajectory in life to prepare you to have $1 million or $2 million?
Okay.
It's not going to happen. So what do we do? How do we solve this? And there is no one that's focusing on that. And so that's what I've been focusing on, is how can we create jobs or businesses or incomes that are at the level we need. And in the Bay Area, that's $300,000 at least. It's still, I have doctor friends who are making $300,000 and they're barely getting by. It's crazy, in townhomes, in like 1,200 square foot townhomes and such. So this whole thing of a livable income and all of that, it's all lies. This whole thing of a middle class, I don't believe is true. We're all poor, desperately poor, because even people making $400,000 or $500,000 can barely survive. So there has to be a way in this world, in this economy. It's $1 trillion, hundreds of trillions of dollars we make a year in the U.S. and we can't figure out how. You know what I mean? Like, there is a way. There is a way to access that wealth, and but there has to be a lot of things that line up, and that's what I've been focusing on for a long time, and now found it. I won't go into too much of that with it here, because I think it's a better venue. Elsewhere we offer classes and all of that kind of stuff. It's all we pay you to learn this kind of thing, because we believe in that strongly. But what we do, what we're paying you to learn, is about true finances. So if you want to be a stockbroker, I've traded options of Apple, right? 1,000% in an hour, that kind of thing. You want to do all of that, and you want to be able to take money and start hedge funds and create imagine a hedge fund for your community.
You're talking total vocabulary that is new to me. So thank you. I mean, I'm financially illiterate just a little bit, but this is great.
So you want to do all that. If you want to get in that field, the first license you need is your life insurance license.
Ooh, let's talk insurance.
So why aren't we doing that in schools? Why don't people come out with certificates in coding, certificates in life insurance, certificates in realty, certificates as plumbers, certificates as dental assistants? Why don't people come out of school ready to engage using the license that prepared them? What do we get? What does a high school diploma do?
Ooh.
So that's what I'm focusing on, is how can we get people some kind of a true bona fide legitimate certificate license that allows them to make money and do what they need to do. And that's
how would you compare this license to a real estate license?
So a life insurance, okay, let me put it this way. You guys all familiar with how money works, right? We don't make money through salaries, right? We make money through selling a product. And because the profit is so big, we take this small amount of the profit and pay it out as salaries and then pocket the rest, right? But this concept of working for a salary isn't true. No one works for a salary. We make a product. And when you make a product, you get a commission for selling that product, right? However you want to look at it, that's basically what it is. You put in this amount. So what are commissions? What's commission of a real estate agent?
I don't know.
1%.
Depends on the market, right?
1 to 3%. 1 to 2% is all a real estate agent makes. And you want to know that test they have to take, huge. You know, the documentation they have to go through. And then just to close a contract on a house, you know how hard that is to do? Set up and do the, you know, setting up the house, make it look nice, dealing with all escrow, all of that you've got to do just for 1%. And then you look at car sales, what, 10%?
Our guest tonight, someone's asking who's the guest. Our guest, our main guest tonight is Tua Rust. He's a financial, he's our financial, I would call him subject matter expert of the evening. And how many years do you have in finance and teaching? And
so I started, so my background, I have a degree in astrophysics from Berkeley. I graduated in 1999. And I started trading the stock market back then. For those who trade, that was when the NASDAQ was still trading an eighth of a point.
I'm not there yet, but one day.
So I've been trading, off and on for about 25 years. I got my first license in 2009. I've been teaching math. I started at the Jose Valdez Summer Math Institute, which some of you guys may, if you're in San Jose, might know about. It still exists back in 2000, 2001. So I've been teaching math for about 20 years.
If anyone has any questions out there, any questions about maybe retirement, insurance, I have some comments about insurance and how it saved me in many ways, but drop the questions and comments. I saw we have another guest, Andrew Becker. He is our research expert on finances within the Antioch, maybe beyond, but he keeps tabs on properties that become available, measures, and how we can make it work for the people. I don't know, but happy to have you on here, Andrew. And you know, if you have a question to crack the code about, I don't know, how do we create sustainable living for folks in the city of Antioch, you know, we have our expert here, to maybe you could drop some knowledge. But I do want to talk about insurance real quick to our audience out there. Insurance on renters insurance, car insurance, life insurance, all of those things really can save our families and ourselves so much headache, and it could save us a lot of money. And at our first lesson when I was 17 years old, I had a really nice supercharged Bonneville moonroof. What was I doing? Driving, you know, and I hit the wall, totaled the car, and we did not have full coverage. So that was my first experience of understanding what insurance was. And so we took that L. It was a really nice car and took the L. It was only liability. Liability meant that It would only cover the other folks if something, but I would be shit out of luck, and I was shit out of luck. And then for other instances where I have expensive equipment like my iMacs or my laptops, MacBooks, ensuring those things have saved me so much money because I pay for it monthly through renter's insurance. But the times that I've misplaced it or if I've broken one, I pay my deductible and then boom, I get a big ol' amount of money to cover the cost of it. So yes. And so for life insurances, then I've also seen in the community, there's like when folks, I had life insurance for the military and I need to tackle like what's next after my military because I was covered like, I mean, you pick which plan, but I had the biggest one, like 400K to go to my family. If something would have happened to me, God, thank God nothing happened to me. But I wonder because there are families and folks that don't necessarily have life insurance, and you know, there's costs to passing, and we fundraise, and communities come together to make it happen. But what would it take for folks to become like, I guess, insurance knowledgeable and
right. So we're talking about empowerment, right? Do you teach, do you fish for someone, right? Do you teach that person to fish, right? Or do you teach the teachers? Yeah. And it turns out teaching the teachers is the easiest. So if you were to go to a company and say, I want to be a life insurance agent, they will pay for your license, but you'll have to study on your own. They will give you name lists and you'll cold call and whatnot, but you have to do that on your own. And if you're diligent and you work hard, you can make that $200,000 a year. But if you take vacation, it goes down. If you get sick, it goes down. So ultimately, like with anything, you want to have a community of people doing it, because ultimately you're going to phase yourself out of that, right? Because we get, you know, as we get older, we realize we're not in the know. I don't know as much. I don't know the social media people are using today, all that. I don't want to be running my business. I'd rather have other people run it. They can make money. I'll make a little, sure, but they should be taking it. But if I'm the one in charge and they're the ones doing things for me, then they'll never take over. So what we try to do is we try to teach people how to teach people about this. And so we do that through a series of videos that I've made that we help others learn how to use and to wield. If you were to do that all on your own, it would cost several $1,000s. It would cost at least $500 to $600 to get licensed. It would take anywhere from a month to half a year to get it done. And you would have to get your own office. You'd have to spend, you know, a month or two just trying to get business going. Even if you get a policy sold, it might take a month before you get commission. So you're talking a good year or so before any real income comes in. And then meanwhile, you're losing money. So it's hard. And that's largely the reason why people don't get into it. And you already hit the nail on the head. Life insurance is expensive. Any policy worth its weight is about $500 a month minimum, and we can't afford that, you know. So what do? We just don't get it. But what if there is a way to have life insurance? What if there is a way to get paid to learn to do that? And so that's where we're coming from. That's what we're trying to do.
Okay, Gavin.
In the beginning, it's all just about education.
Yeah, absolutely. Knowledge and awareness of opportunities that are out there, and understanding our cycle of finances. I mean, we live, we die, and it still costs money. Gavin, did you have something you wanted to say?
Oh, sure. I think when you were coming out of your house in the morning, think of your house as a business. Be more business minded about your house and a little bit of your family and who you are support. Because just like a business, you have all these things that need to get done. You need to understand your house and the way you live is going to be your everything. Just like
Mhm.
business is going to kind of be your everything.
Okay.
If you could figure out what your house needs to maintain it, budget that first, and you need to make this much to make it. Okay,
Mhm.
I got it. That's my plan. Now I need to go talk to someone to find a job.
Mhm. Mhm. No,
Then
yeah.
from there, you need to spend time in your community after you get your job. You need to find a space
Mhm.
where you are in a mindset, okay, I need to make this, and this connection because
Mhm.
I never know who I'm talking to.
Mm.
Because someone might know someone to help you.
Mhm. Most definitely.
Because that's why we need to start in the community. Like when we
Mhm.
in the coffee shops, we need to just say hello, hey, hello, and
Yeah.
be open and start
Who
being a
knows what? Let's connect, make things better. Here
yes.
we have a financial expert for folks out there. If you ever see them in the community, Los Menos College is an amazing institution. I was a student there. And I know from all of the professors that I learned from, they hire like pretty much the best and most like experienced and qualified of what they're teaching. Like they live what they teach, and it's great. I wasn't one of your students, but from what I'm hearing, it's great that the paths that you're crossing to, enlighten and spark that little entrepreneurial venture to protect and secure financial futures. Hopefully Andrew Becker, he's muted right now, but Andrew, at some point later, if you could drop us some knowledge, you told us something coming up in the city, of some measure or money or something. So hopefully we can hear about that. But I want to talk about social justice. Tua, you said something about like the work that you did. Gavin's doing work right now. So I want to follow up with Gavin and recent policies. But Tua, if you could tell us like your social justice. Oh, also there's a question. Someone asked, about science. Did he say science is unnecessary or political science? We didn't hear it fully. Okay.
Oh, what I was saying is that we can teach our kids college level material at about the 6th or 7th grade level. At around like neurologically 6th, 7th grade, 8th grade, that's when the mind is able to do things more logically. And it's ready to absorb that. And most of the material that we are learning this day is logic based, for good or for worse. You can go back to the Greeks for that between truth and arete and beauty, but truth won, the city state. And so logic and structure and organization became dominant over things like that tree is warm to me, or the sun feels beautiful, things that are also true but subjective. So when we're looking at objective truth, a lot of it is memorization, rote memorization, logical reasoning, that kind of stuff. And that all is developed nicely when you're already in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade. We're ready for college level work. You are actually doing college level work in 7th grade because algebra was college work 50 years ago. The English that you're learning in 7th and 8th grade was college level English. That when we teach English, you know what? We teach to a 7th grade reading and writing level. Like that's what our curriculum is based on. So all the books, all the work we do has to be accessible to someone with a 6th or 7th grade accessibility. So we don't need to use high school. We can jump right into college. And so you don't even have to send your kid to high school. You can literally homeschool your kid. You can choose an option that says, I'm not going to use state curriculum. I'm not going to use other curriculum. I'm going to use my own curriculum. Completely allows you to do whatever you want. Then you can sign your son or daughter up to go to the community college. Make sure they're taking online classes. You don't want them walking around necessarily, right, without someone there. And then you coach them, and you're at home, or you have someone there helping them learn that material, helping them learn how to study and all that. But remember, a high school kid goes to school from 8 to 3. What if you approached college 8 to 3 every day, right? Those of us who went to college, we know we didn't do that, but a high school kid doesn't know any better. So we can have these entering, 13, 14-year-olds working 6 hours a day on these 1 or 2 courses. They can get their degrees by the time they're 15 or 16, and they can transfer into Stanford universities as prodigies and geniuses. And it's just because they learned how to circumvent the system. All doable. I was going to do that with my son, so I know it's 100% possible.
Okay. And then, so what policy, like, regarding like finances or like in your journey, have you worked on any like policy for social justice, or what social justice work would you share?
Yeah, I mean, the main one was what I did within statistics, but what I ran was a program called the Academy for College Excellence. And I'll put that in the chat. This is one that sadly it was going to be funded by ACE, by the Gates Foundation, and then at the last minute they pulled out of higher education, and our program largely went under. But the website still exists. The program still exists at Cabrillo College, I think at Berkeley City College, a couple other places. But in there, we bring students in and we bring in their issues, the things that they've dealt with, and then we create projects around that. So we focused on police brutality, lack of support for teen moms, racism, the prison pipeline, gangs, and the lack of support for gang members. Is one of our key findings, is that most gang members, first of all, don't earn that much money. The average gang member is earning about $30,000. And remember, you can't say you're in the gang, then you can get put into jail for that. So we had to do it kind of all subversively. People who lost parents due to violent crime. We interviewed hundreds of people who had all lost parents due to violent crime to find out what happened. Homelessness. So, and then we presented. So we presented police brutality, and the chief of police were there. And it was interesting because the Antioch community believed that about 10% of the police were members of the KKK. And whether or not that's true, the fact that that's the perception is troublesome, right? For many reasons.
That's the whole topic. Yeah, absolutely. Because we fought and tackled all those injustices. I would have said 50% of them.
Exactly.
90%. Based on what the findings. But there's new officers and new folks, and we're just hoping for the best. But I still don't think that they're doing a good enough job with the.
So this was a springboard. It was a 1 semester thing, and then shoot off from there. So we've had former students go off, and so Kevin Almazan is a member from that, and he's huge in our community and doing a lot of good work. We have people who've gone on to the United Nations, focusing on sex trafficking because of their issues and what they've gone to. And of course, they were going to do wonderful things anyways, but this program started that, right? They were trying to focus on sex trafficking with us, but we couldn't get to the women because it was too traumatized. So we focused on something else, but she followed it later. So it was about getting students to realize that they have value and they have worth, and to show it and to do a formal presentation to the community, 8-page essays, all of that, statistics, PowerPoint, the works. They're up there doing it and realizing, wait a minute, I could maybe make a career out of this. I could do this for a living of sorts. And then, wherever they go from there. So that was real humbling work to be able to do that.
That's awesome. I'm sure you inspired and educated and set people on a great path. So thank you for that. Gavin, I saw you had your hand raised.
Yes, I want to give, I want to thank you for bringing that topic up, because, not to get off topic, but I did create a film. I wrote it. We're trying to figure out ways to release it, but it's actually called Police Brutality. And it's not a true story, but it references it references a lot of the issues that we go through as African Americans, going through gun violence and police brutality. So when it's ready to come out, I will let you guys know and share it.
Okay, well, congratulations. That's exciting. What about you, Gavin? So you've got this film coming out. what policies can you fill us in real quick in our audience? Like, you went to the NAACP convention. What did you learn? What you gonna bring back? Like, what's up?
Yeah. Before I get into that, I also want to say I went to the anime convention, and I thought it was just going to be talking about anime. But little did I know that there were so many other resources there. And there was people that had resources. When I tell you that community itself has resources for the people and they help each other out, it is beyond. And also, I have to give a great shout out to some of the content creators there. They did amazing. But yeah, let's get into the nitty gritty of the NAACP National Convention.
Okay.
One, President Biden spoke. He was amazing. I just sent in the chat. I hope it's in the comments. Our library of resolutions that were passed. I forgot the name of our resolution, but it was based on education, and it got passed. Our resolution for education is for them to actually teach, not say they are, and they're really not. Actually teach accurate African American history, accurate LGBTQ history, accurate Native American history, and so on. Because what happens is when we do go to African American history, we're taught about one figure throughout elementary, all the way.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Yep, from preschool, elementary, all the way to high school, and you only will learn about I have a dream speech. There was so much more that Martin Luther King Jr. did.
Absolutely.
And there was so much that the NAACP played a role in that. There was so much more that they skip Malcolm X in that whole conversation. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about the
Black Panthers. There's a debt that's owed to the Black Panthers.
There's so
for a
much
legitimate organization, and they were terrorized.
Yes. And there's so much that Huey P. Newton did. There's so much that these other organizations and other leaders did and played a role so that we can get to where we are, but we're not taught about them in schools. And it's funny how we're taught about that, but yet they don't want to teach us about how the English settlers came over here and basically raped, murdered, brainwashed, and abused our African American women and children and men, because it happened to the men too.
And the Native Americans.
It was not only just the Native Americans, but what they don't teach you in history is that there was a group of dark-skinned natives and a group of Africans, and the African people that was brought here on slave ships, they either jumped off the ships and drowned themselves so they didn't have to bear what was going on, or try to swim in the freezing cold water down to the South America to free. And when they was brought here, there was only so many slaves here. And when they was brought here, there was natives that they enslaved, and they inbreeded the Native Americans with the African Americans, the Africans that were here, and made us. Some of us are both Native and African, but we were brainwashed to all think that we was fully African and we came from Africa.
Question for our financial expert tonight. So I'm a firm believer of reparations. AB 9130, I'm not sure which one it was, but it was established to do the research. And, I say there's no amount of money to pay back the pain and trauma, generational trauma, financial losses, everything, to pay it back. Like, there's no amount to make up for it, because we don't know about all the lives lost, missing persons, But if there was a way that we could give back to the African American community or descendants that were affected by, let's say, the prison system or slavery, the war on drugs, how could we financially give it back?
I mean, you're talking trillions, quadrillions, right? I mean, we had a Black Wall Street thriving, and gutted it. What would that be worth today? You know what I mean? Look at our billionaire African Americans, and how did Dre manage that? How did these guys just out of nothing manage this? So imagine if Black Wall Street had been allowed, we'd have so many wealthy African Americans right now. I believe. So there's no way, and then that would change policy. That would change everything. We're talking a whole different world. It takes a lot of energy to oppress and keep groups down, and if that was removed, it would be just a beautiful, beautiful world. It'd be very, very different these days. I don't think you can ever place a price on it, and so that's why when something like a life insurance comes in, we can't replace the person, but we can indemnify the financial loss. And so the only way we do that is you take, and again, this isn't everything, but you take the salary, right, that the person would have made, you multiply that by 10, and that is about the life insurance policy that the person should have had. So that if the person passes, you can put that amount in a typical annuity and it will pay out equivalent of that person's salary for the rest of your life. So even though the person has passed, their salary is still going to the family. And so that's what you would have to do. You'd have to figure out what is the financial loss, right, of someone not being there, and then add it up over time, right, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So we're talking millions of dollars a year minimum for each person. So way too much.
Question. So that kind of policy versus a flat out 100,000 payout. There's a difference?
Yeah. So then it gets really interesting. So I was just talking with a guy, Alan, and he's involved in what we're doing. And so once you have a policy, what's interesting, unlike credit card debt or a car or a loan, those are all liabilities, right? When you buy a car, you're buying a liability. When you buy a house, it's a liability. You don't own that house. You're now liable for it, though. So you can't borrow against a house because you don't have any equity in the home yet. You can't borrow against a car. But when you buy a life insurance policy, because we're guaranteed to die, that money is guaranteed. So if you have a $500,000 life insurance policy, you are now worth $500,000. Whereas if you buy a $500,000 car, you are $500,000 in debt, right? So what can you do with an asset? You can borrow against it, right? So you can use that life insurance policy to create more and more and more wealth. And so there is a way for as little as $500 a month to create a $1.3 million salary for yourself in about 10 years. But you have to have a person that shows you how to do that. And it's not that this knowledge is purposely kept from people, but life insurance companies and people like that, it's a commission. So would you rather do a policy for someone who's worth 500,000 or someone worth 500 million, right? So everyone learned how to cater to the wealthy. They make these billion-dollar homes, these 500,000 administrative assistants, charge you 10 grand just to speak to them. And so that information never reaches us. Not because life insurance companies don't want it to. We would love it to. It's just they don't know how. And so what it comes down to is how can we get this information to people? And so that's what I'm trying to do out here in podcasts like this, saying, no, there is a way to create massive wealth for you and your community. It's not that difficult. You just have to have a process for doing it and knowledge of how to do it.
So how do people contact you? How do people find you if they have questions or they want to
You know me, I'm going to give my cell phone. I probably shouldn't, but so you know what? I've been trying to text in here, and I'm sorry I left for a second, but on the chat, but I wasn't. I keep sending it, and it says it's failed to post. It says it's going to Carlos, so maybe I'm sending it to the wrong person. Maybe I'm just a boomer.
You using the private chat?
No, I'm on comments, but maybe I'm not logged in or so. But if maybe someone else can type it in the text or so, or I don't know how to share this information with you. But I've been trying to type in. Yeah.
You can go to private chat and put the link, and then I'll copy paste it.
Okay. So
sorry about that.
No. It's my fault. So that's the Academy for College Excellence. That's oh no, that's a copy pasting. That's the social justice program I was helping with. This is how to get your son or daughter into calculus. This is the math necessary. It's an hour and 15-minute video. Basically, it has to be memorized, but it's not that hard to memorize it. Maybe it takes 30 days. You can do it on your own, fine.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
The curriculum I've already made and all that. This is millions and millions of dollars to be made off of doing this. Like, this is a whole nother story. The point is we need to get everyone into college a lot sooner. So that's that. And then my phone number, that's my cell phone. So you can get a hold of me anytime you want. And then what I'll do is not to get too into the whole business side of things, but we are interviewing. We are paying people about $4,000 a month minimum. They need to be available from about 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. Starting on Monday. And we will have to do a quick interview, but if it lines up and seems like a good match, we're looking for positive people, energetic people who don't mind being on screen, who don't mind talking and being social, that kind. So if you're a wonderful artist who just loves to be an introvert, maybe it's not the best fit for you, kind of a thing. But if you're kind of an up and going person who has Mondays at 9 o'clock free, come check us out. At the minimum, you'll learn, because I'll teach you. I'll be your teacher. And at a maximum, maybe you'll find out, hey, this is for me, and we'll have some fun together. So I'll send a link to set up an interview, if you wish, with Renee, who's also a former LMC student. And then we'll see about locking you in and starting to work with us. But we're doing a very quick thing over just the next couple of weeks to try to gather kind of our first class together, so we can all learn this together.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right on. Yeah. Thank you for dropping that resource. And to any orgs out there, this is one of those opportunities. I mean, I'm all about taking opportunities and taking chances, and I highly recommend folks to tap in. We have about 7 minutes left. Andrew Becker. Where's Andrew Becker? He's like my favorite researcher on
Wake up, Andrew.
In the city of Antioch. Always, what you got for us, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm just listening. I'm just taking it all in. I'm just a fly on the wall here. No, it's a lot of great conversations. You guys always seem to dive into some heavy spaces. It seems. It's crazy how you condense it all into an hour. I'll tell you. That's pretty phenomenal.
It's not easy.
That's Patty.
Carlos.
Yeah, just continuing to push some of these different housing opportunities, and I wear a couple of different hats, right? I consult in affordable housing, market rate housing developments, carry some project management and developer roles as well. And then I'm also the guy that just shows up at all the city council meetings and has a couple of comments to make, right?
Totally.
Which is what being a citizen is about, right? We don't just vote every election cycle. We show up and we ask our community questions, and we hold our civil servants and allies and leaders responsible, right?
Hell
And
yeah.
accountable. And so, the city of Antioch's always got a lot going on. We just had some dollars that have been allocated towards affordable housing projects here in the city. So the CDBG committee made some recommendations that they brought up to the city council, and the city council is looking to ratify those and bring a couple of $1 million to the affordable housing space in the city. So that's always exciting. I know that we've all heard Hope Solutions showing up at the council meetings and hosting some community engagement sessions, and so it's definitely rewarding seeing the fruits of their labor, right, and seeing those dollars, more importantly, come to those local communities. So Hope Solutions is looking to build on First Family's property over off of Concha Loma by St. Ignatius, and Grace Bible is partnering with Novian Development, and they're going to be building 80 units out there at the Grace Bible campus off of Oakley Road. So once those come online, that means units that'll be under $1,500 a month, and all the way down to, in some cases, $600-700 a month. So definitely always a plus. Inflation is a large driver in how we act, how we think, how we feel, how we move, right? How we react. And inflation is always on the climb. And so that means that our emotions and our actions become frenzied and chaotic in some cases. And that leads to a lot of the disconnect in the region and in the Bay Area. And so, listening to the conversation, definitely exciting tonight. And
oh man,
and understanding that the most important tool that an individual has is probably that intellectual knowledge, right, which is something that is learned, right, in different environments. And so we see education in both inside of the classroom and out in the community. And there is, I think, a huge need in this day and age for individuals to tap into the resources that are around them, to understand what their local communities are doing, and try to understand who they want to be and where they want to go and what they need to do. And you bring all of those pieces together and you build your own puzzle, right? And you can find yourself putting together a nice picture here in the Bay Area. There's a lot of opportunities, and there's a lot of trends and a lot of waves. And so the goal is never to understand what the curve is, but to be ahead of it, right? And I think that in East County specifically, I'll kind of finish with saying that in East County, we have been on the fringe, and we have watched a lot of the technological advances and the economic advancements that the region has seen post boomer era, and some of these large economic and inflative drivers. And we've stayed out of it. And technology and people having that technology and those resources at their fingertips, in their hands, whether it be a cell phone, a tablet that's in a 4-year-old's hand, right, or a cell phone that's in a teenager's hand, or a laptop that a 60-year-old sits at, right? We've all now become connected, and we get to understand what other regions and what other markets are looking like. And so it's exciting because we see East County really pushing for some of that. So this is one of those outlets, right? This is one of those abilities to connect people and get that information to them. And to Gavin, I'll say, for all of your production, projects that you have going, and with your connections and resources, I always encourage people to tap into the county broadcasting systems and public broadcasting systems, right? We see it as Channel 27 here in Contra Costa County, DeltaNet. There is not only production equipment that is available for organizations, but also outlets to be able to bring your material to the community. And so I encourage you to tap into those resources and bring them to your organizations, and let's continue to get the information out to people.
Hell yeah. Mic drop.
That was amazing. Well done. Wrapped it off. Tied it with a bow.
That was great. Yeah, that was. Thank you, Andrew. That was a great wrap up for us.
Of course, yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on, and happy to be here, and always enjoy being that fly on the wall. You guys have a lot of heavy material, but these are the conversations that people need to have, and you guys use that time well to put those thoughts into people's minds. So we appreciate you all, and it was a real pleasure listening to the conversation, and excited to see what these programs bring.
Sweet. Thank you for tapping in, Andrew. Gavin, I saw you had your hand up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
I just wanted to share the talent show before I forget.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
So, on August 17th at True Light Missionary Baptist Church, we will be having our first talent show where we're giving out scholarships. And we definitely encourage our youth to participate and come out and show up. I forgot the time. It will be at 3 p.m.
August 17th.
Yes.
Okay. This Saturday, there's a multicultural festival here in the city of Antioch on Williamson Ranch Park. It's the 3rd annual. I will be there on behalf of Monument Impact.
Nice.
Hope to see local nonprofits come out, come hang out, kick it with me. Y'all are welcome to sit at my little table. Yeah. All right.
Bring a
last
chair.
thoughts? Any last thoughts before we part ways?
No, just very humbled, very thankful. Thank you for inviting me. Please, take care of yourselves out there. Feel free to ask me any questions about anything. I know a lot about stuff, and I'm an open book. So please meet me.
Come back on the show sometime.
We'll
do another.
Anytime.
Great.
All right. You want to wrap this up? Oh, we gotta wait. Hold on. Wait, what's this?
We're gonna dance off, right? That's what's happening.
We gotta dance. Can you guys hear the music?
Yeah, I got you.
Good.
I hear something. I don't know. Maybe flashback. No, wait. Hold on.
I gotta put this last link here for.
Oh, I do want to wrap up for my. She's like my other mom, Miss Karina. I went to her services today. She passed away recently, and we live, we pass.
Condolences to the family.
Yeah, much love to the family. Miss Karina Bonilla, she was a queen. Her one of her things was just take no shit, and much rest and power to her. And get your life insurance on, people.
Yes,
right.
Reach out to Tua.
Gavin, you want to close the show? Let them know when we're on, what time, and all that good stuff. If they're not subscribed yet, I want to hear you break it down.
What are you doing if you're not subscribing and liking and sharing?
Right.
Let's make this a community. Let's outdo the other communities. Let's just show up and show out.
That's right.
Let them know that East County is the best county.
Yes.
That's right.
Unity and community. Yes.
Every Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I want to thank all the guests. Gavin, Andrew. Is it two? You said two?
Yeah, two? Very good. Tua. Tua.
Tua. All right.
There we go.
Thank you guys for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Wait, what happened to that tie? Where did that go?
I took it off. You know what?
No.
I didn't think anybody recognized me with it on, so I took it off. I see the name, but that ain't Carlos. There's a tie right there. Anyways, thank y'all for being on the show. Miss Patty, thank you for helping out so much. Mary, we miss you. We'll see you next time. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. Peace out and God bless.
Okay.
Bye, y'all.